Okay, so I have a story time, okay? So I was at the mall, right? Because I was going back to school shopping. And we were in the checkout. And the cashier, he was like a teenager, he was like 16. He asked my dad if he played football. My dad said no. And then when we got up there, he was like, I'm a football player. And started talking about how, like, he was, like, a sophomore. And how, like, all his football games. And then he said that he has a football game and stuff. And then he started talking about homecoming and stuff. And then, in front of my parents, he asked me if I wanted to go to his game and go to homecoming with him. This was all in front of my parents. Like, no joke. And then he gave me his number on the receipt. And then, like... and then he was like, you're blushing. And I'm like, oh. And in front of my parents. Like...
Okay, so I had this boyfriend, and we were hanging out yesterday, and we were sitting down at the mall, and I looked down at his phone, and he's texting a girl, and the girl's name was the name of his ex. So I asked him, who is that? He said, oh, it's my ex. I said, I thought you hated her. Are you texting her? He said, yeah. And he said, funny enough, I think I still have feelings for her. I said, you have feelings for her. And so I got up and left. And as I left, I fell down. And he grabbed my leg and started pulling me, just like I'm pulling your leg right now.
Hey, are you ready to go?
Yeah, he's the clown now.
Love you. Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Story time. So when I was like 6 or 7, I went to Walmart with my dad. This Walmart was like 30 minutes away from my hometown. I live in upstate New York, by the way. But in this Walmart, they used to have, I don't know if they still have them. I'm 18 now, so it's been a while. I never noticed them anymore, but they used to have the posters of the kids that have been kidnapped in that Walmart. That used to freak me out so much because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get stolen. But anyways, my dad's in the hardware section. I'm like standing with him, but I really have to go to the bathroom. And it's like 2 seconds away, so he's like, you can just go. And so I go to the bathroom, I come back, and my dad's no longer in the aisle that he was in before. But then I remember, okay, well, he had to buy towels too, so like, I'm going to go over to the towel section, which is so far away from the hardware section. My 7-year-old ass is just walking around Walmart, lost as hell. And so I start screaming dad, and like bloody murder screaming dad in the middle of Walmart. This dude that looked like he was in like his 20s was like, hey, do you want me to help you find your dad? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like for part 2.
Story time! So yesterday my friends and I all went to the fair, and there were 6 of us in total. And none of us wanted to have to worry about driving there and parking, so we just Ubered instead. So we left the fair around 11:15, and we walked to a nearby shopping center where the Uber picked us up about 10 minutes late. We ended up leaving at 11:30. We get in the Uber, the man says hello, and we head home the normal way. Everything's fine. And my parents don't like when I Uber, so they were tracking me on Life 360 from the moment I got in the car. After about 10 minutes in, I get a text from my mom, and it said, where are you? I look up from my phone and I realize I have no idea where we are, and Ubers know their directions, they know how to take you home. We were 20 minutes out of the way. So I'm terrified. My mom's texting me nonstop, literally about to call the police. I'm gonna run out of time, but posting part 2 today.
So my boyfriend is a fisherman, and he's been gone for a month. And I haven't seen him for a month. Yesterday he decided that he's coming home for like 2-3 days. And instead of asking me if I wanted to hang out with him, he picked up his friend on his way home from Maine. We live in Massachusetts. And hung out with him. And then told me that we could hang out today, which is Friday. I was like wicked excited. I did my hair, did my makeup, did everything. Right? And then he tells me, oh, well, my friend's still here, so like I don't really want to hang out, like it's gonna be awkward. So whatever. And now he just told me that I'm being too controlling because I want to hang out, and I haven't seen my boyfriend in a month, and now I'm being too controlling because I want to hang out with him. Okay, bet.
Story time. Here's how Disney ruined my prom. So I got to go to my prom with my best friend. And so, I had already planned on going with him, but I didn't know he was going to ask me to prom. So we went to Disneyland for his birthday. All four of us went to Disneyland. And so we went through security. I thought everything was fine. He was taking a little bit longer, but I didn't think about it because he had a backpack. But then we get on the tram and he's looking like really down. And I was like, oh, what's wrong? And he was like, oh, I can't tell you until we get to the park. And so when we get to the park, I'm like, park? I ask him, oh, like, you know what happened at security? Because I thought obviously something had happened. Like, he did not look happy after going through security. And he was like, oh, I made you a big old poster to ask you to prom in front of the Disney castle. Because he knew that's what I wanted. I wanted to be asked in front of the Disney castle. And so they took our fucking promposal sign because it was too big, and I'm mad. It was
Story time. So I studied abroad in Chile for 4 months. It was for my minor in college. I'm a Spanish minor, so yeah. So I lived in Chile for 4 months. When I was there, I obviously didn't look like the other Chileans because I'm not Chilean. I'm a white blonde girl. I looked different. I stood out like a sore thumb. I can't talk. And everywhere that I went, I would get catcalled. One day I was walking down the sidewalk by myself. I was getting catcalled as usual. And today I decided I've had enough of this. And there were 2 guys that were catcalling me. They would not stop. And so this is what I did in response. They said something super nasty to me. And I turned around and this is what I did. I went full T-Rex mode on them. Like straight up. And they just stop. They look at each other and they start running away from me. And I continue to walk down the sidewalk like a dinosaur. I mean, at least they stopped catcalling me. So if anybody catcalls you, just go full-blown T-Rex on them and they'll leave you alone. The end.
So when I was little, my mom took me and my brother to the local pool. I was 12, he was 4. So while my mom and I sunbathed, he played in the kiddie pool. When all of a sudden he comes up to us and says, Mommy, I gotta go pee-pee. And instead of taking him to the bathroom, my mom said, Go pee-pee in the pool. Shame on you, Carolyn. We continued to lay out in the sun until all of a sudden we hear everyone scream. Oh my God, some kid's peeing in the kiddie pool. Torian didn't understand, and he went over to the kiddie pool, pulled down his pants, and pee-peed like he was peeing in the toilet. But my mom is clever, and she pretended like she didn't know whose kid it was. And we never went back to that pool again.
Story time. So a few summers back, I had this pool party, and I invited this girl that I liked. Well, her and her sister got there, and they went inside to change. Well, there was this other girl in the hot tub that got offended by something one of my friends said. So she storms off, and she looks like she's going inside, but she actually doesn't. She goes to this place where we couldn't see her, but she could, hear us and everything. Well, I told my friend, that was kind of messed up. You probably shouldn't have said that to her. And I was, defending her. Well, my friend is still saying stuff about her, and then it somehow gets to the girl that I like, and he says, how I like her and everything. Well, the girl who had just gotten offended hears this, and even though I was defending her, she decides to go inside and tell the girl that I like her for some kind of revenge or something. And I was defending her. It turned out that the girl that I liked me back, but, that was a snake move. Honestly, it's you're gonna do that to someone who's defending you? Okay, Karen.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hyperventilate. So there's been this cross necklace that's been sitting in my bathroom drawer for months now. And last minute tonight, while I was getting my costume ready, I was like, oh, I could use that for Halloween. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. So I wear it all night. And I come home and my sister goes, what are you wearing? I was like, oh, I found it in the bathroom. I didn't think it was a big deal. Apparently one of our best friend's boyfriends, it's a necklace that is very special to him. You wanna know why? I guess he had a baby in 2013 and it died